In May last year, Prime Minister Modi has broken bread with Congress leader Sonia Gandhi, and as we speak, the meeting that the Prime Minister hosted at his residence with Congress President Sonia Gandhi, the former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, as well as Venkaiah Naidu, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, and the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, that meeting has just concluded. In fact, a conciliatory note being struck by the Prime Minister today saying we're not enemies, we are like a family inside Parliament. The Prime Minister said that a few minutes ago. He also said that he believes that the opposition and the government can work together. He also said, do not discredit any previous governments for India's growth. It's not you or I, but we will help us uphold the constitution. He even praised India's first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. So a much more conciliatory tone being struck by the Prime Minister in Parliament. We are waiting to see if there is any breakthrough that's been engineered by the Prime Minister at that meeting that's taken place. We will check in with our colleagues Rituparna Bhuyan and Pallavi Ghosh, who are outside 7 Racecourse Road. But let's also bring in our guests this evening. Bhalchandra Mungekar, Congress leader in the Rajya Sabha, joins us now. Also with us, BJP spokesperson Jai Narayan Vyas. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us. With us, our tax experts who've been sitting in: Amit Kumar Sarkar, partner of indirect tax at Grant Thornton, and Sachin Menon, head indirect tax at KPMG. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us. Let me start by getting the Congress party's view. Sir, we understand that the meeting has just concluded. It's a much more conciliatory approach that the government has adopted at this point in time. Is the Congress likely to relent and give in to the government's suggestions to move ahead on the GST bill?
As you are aware that the Congress party has initiated the entire process of the GST bill. It is the entire fatherhood, what is called the Congress, it essentially the Congress bill. The question is, in the course of time, when there were several what is called ordinances about it, they changed, the present government changed the major changes in the structure of the GST bill which Congress originally presented to the Parliament. And that is why I was privileged to be a member of the Select Committee along with Shri Manishankar Iyer and Shri Madhusudan Ji Mistry. After studying and after discussing these bills and appropriately accepting, Congress is absolutely positive about this. This GST tax is necessary in order to avoid the multiplicity of taxes, cascading effect, inflation, heterogeneity, and so many other things. And also combined effect of that would be nearly, if all provisions of the GST bill are properly implemented and put in place, it is expected that the country's total GDP will be rising by about 1.5% to even 2%.
So, Mr. Mungekar, you yourself admit that you're the original authors of the GST bill. You admit that it's going to add 1.5 to 2% to India's economy, to the GDP. Then are you willing to give up some ground, sir? Are you willing to cede some ground? And specifically as far as this business of trying to enshrine the rate in the constitutional amendment bill, which across the board there is opposition. Across the board, we've got several tax experts here who also say that if you don't have any rate in the Income Tax Act enshrined in the Act itself, then why are you adamant on this demand? Are you willing to relent if the government agrees to some other demands, sir, which is crucial, the 18% rate?
Let me tell you, your question is absolutely appropriate, minus one word, that is adamant. See, what happens is, we have suggested nearly 8 or 9 recommendations in form of dissent because we tried our level best to see that these our recommendations are incorporated in the bill. One, we are not reconciling to the 1% additional tax of the manufacturing state because we are sure it will be resulting into 3 to 4 to 5% cascading effect. The second point is, we are suggesting the GST dispute settlement authority, independent authority, and we are not willing, we are not inclined to accept GST council will be sitting itself because the dispute will be between the states and the center or among the states, and their representative themselves will be deciding upon the judgment. This is according to, again, the principle of natural justice. Third is, we are suggesting, since the BJP is talking about cooperative federalism, we are suggesting in consistent with that cooperative federalism, the state should be able to share the tax buoyancy, as a result of which, when we shall be getting additional tax income and additional GDP, the buoyancy also should be allowed to be shared by the state governments. The fourth point we are suggesting is, Some of the states will be, just half minute. Some of the states, the states will be losing, some states will be gaining. We are suggesting the states who should be losing the revenue because of these provisions, they should be getting complete 100% compensation for a period not less than 5 years. And the last our suggestion is that there should be permanent GST compensation fund. Now these are the 5 suggestions according to us will make the act foolproof and will be just, natural, productive, and also based on the principle of equity. Now these things will be subject to negotiate. And I appreciate that the Prime Minister has showed concern, and I also appreciate that Congress President Srimati Sonia Gandhi and former President Dr. Manmohan Singh made the Prime Minister. I appreciate this reconciliation, and we are looking positive toward this, and something positive will come out of this.
Mr. Mungekar, that sounds very positive.